Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I am Dave.
I'm Ron.
And we got a special guest with us today, Al, Red Sox fan. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Uncle Dave and Uncle Ron. Thank you for having me on again. Greatly appreciate it. Always fun. Here.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had you on the show here. And we're going to be talking some product stuff today. But, Ron, this is episode 94.
Stick up!
A little late, but okay, no problem. So the NHL 94 episode, we dubbed this one here, episode 94, here's the dice. Okay, there you go. That's a little bit better. You don't have to say it every time I say NHL 94.
Second.
I knew you could do that. Anyway, hey, ways to get a hold of us. Digitaltodice.com is the website. That's where we park all the podcasts over on Spreaker. 978-751-DICE. 978-751-3423 is the text line. Digitaltodice@yahoo.com is our email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And Ron, what are we up to now on the Facebook group?
761, I think.
Wow. I remember when we hit 200 and we were all excited.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a huge deal.
Yeah, it was. So anyway, today we're going to be we talked about a couple episodes ago, how long is too long? We talked about, game time, how long length of a game, how long do you want to sit and play, half hour, 2.5 hours, whatever it is. And it was one of our listeners of the show brought up a good question. He's like, how many projects is too many projects to be going at the same time? So today we're going to call this one, how many is too many? What do you think about that, Ron? You okay with that?
Know when to say when.
Sometimes you're like a squirrel like I am, and you're just like, I want to take a bite out of every nut.
All righty then.
Your cards and letters too.
All right, so without further ado, let's get to what we're playing. All right, we'll let our guest go first. But first, though, we have to ask our guest this question that we didn't get to ask him the last time because we haven't implemented this part of the show.
I like this.
Al,
yes.
If you could go back in time and attend any sporting event, what would that event be?
Second Graziano-Zale fight in Chicago when Rocky Graziano won the middleweight title. The fight was in Chicago because they stripped Graziano of his boxing license for failure to report a bribe. He did not take the money. He did not take the dive either. He just said, I had a hand injury and refused to fight. And so when he first fought Tony Zale for the title, he was ahead going into the 6th round, and it looked like he was going to stop Tony Zale. And Zale knocked him out with a body punch, hit him with a hellacious left hook. He couldn't get back up. In the second fight, it's a reversal.
What year?
1947, I want to say, is the second fight. They're fighting, and what's sad about this is there's very little film footage of this fight. The third fight in New Jersey, there's the whole fight you can find on YouTube. The second fight, the first fight, it's tough to find stuff. I found the second fight, someone actually must have snuck a camera in, like the old the old
8mm, yeah.
And someone actually put end around 5 and 6 on, but they're so far away, but it still is interesting to watch. It's not as good as you can find a lot of great sports stuff on YouTube, especially boxing, the quality. Anyway, the question, great question. But that would be Chicago, second Graziano-Zale fight, where Graziano, we've all seen the movie Rocky, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Cut me, Mick.
Yep.
They get that from that fight because Graziano's eyes were all swollen up. He went back to the corner, and they go, we're going to stop the fight. And if you've ever seen the movie, Paul Newman portrays Rocky Graziano and Somebody Up There Likes Me. And again, this is true. It's not just made from the movie. He goes, I got him right where I want him. You ain't stopping nothing, or I'll kill you. And the ref says, I'm going to stop the fight if you don't. He goes, I got him. So the ref walks away, and he goes, cut my eye. What they did was they cut over both eyes to alleviate. The blood comes out and just opens his eyes up. But no, it's crazy, right? So he could see a little more, and he knew he only had that 3 minutes. And in interviews, and he's God rest both their souls. They became friends after. It's kind of funny. They beat the hell out of each other for 3 fights. And he said, you know, if they didn't pull me off, I was going to kill him because he had him pinned on the ropes and he just pounded him away.
Oh.
And he had him knocked out. But the problem was Zale was laying on the ropes and he just kept hitting and hitting. He goes, because I was not walking out of there without the title. This was my opportunity to be. That's the whole thing. I'm somebody. Somebody up there like, I'm somebody now. I'm not the dead end kid. I'm not the street thug. I'm a champ. So
wow.
That's the second Graziano's. And there's a lot of great sporting events. Mark had picked
Ali Frazier won, didn't he?
Yeah, which again, great event. But it's the Zale Graziano one because I've always been intrigued by that trilogy. So yeah, thank you.
I'm delighted you did not say Game 6 of the '86 World Series.
That was funny on your because you thought he was going to say that.
I did.
They didn't play that game though.
No.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. You know what? One of the things about boxing, especially the older stuff, is you're right. They filmed a lot of it, and so boxing has a very, very good archive compared to Major League Baseball, which is none, and the NFL pretends that nothing happened before the first Super Bowl, and NBA, NHL's not too bad, but boxing, there is a ton of it out there.
Oh, absolutely. You can, if you're a boxing fan, you can find a ton of great fights on YouTube. And again, it's something I like to do. I mean, if you're not a boxing fan, but I'll tell you where the NFL does themselves a disservice. You know, like when people put up those wonderful old NFL films that I just totally love.
Yeah.
They'll yank them down after. I'm like, really? Like, it's not like you guys are showing these old clips.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway.
We're still in trouble from Floby.
Yeah. Good times at the Floby.
Can we say Floby or no?
Yes, this is not live.
This is not live. We're okay. Yeah. So, anyway, getting to what we're playing here. Ron, we'll let you start there. What have you been playing?
Well, let's see. Speaking of Ali Frazier, I did. I don't think I mentioned the French Open all-time great final I did the last time we asked what I was doing between Rafa Nadal and Bjorn Borg. And the first set was maybe the most intense set of tennis I've ever seen. It was a tiebreak, and Nadal beat Borg. And it took, I think, an hour to stream and 80 minutes of sim game time to play that first set.
Wow.
And it just, Borg deflated.
Time travel tennis, correct?
Time travel tennis. What a tremendous game. You know, shot-by-shot tennis. You would not think that those games play.
I've watched you play that. That's a fun game to watch,
it
too.
It really is. And that was just, I played Nadal, and the computer played Borg, and they just slugged. They just absolutely slug it out. Let's see.
Was that on the clay? Was that on the clay?
That's on the clay.
I saw a clip on YouTube, and someone served it so hard the ball landed and dug into the clay.
That's a spoof.
Oh, that's a spoof?
That's a spoof.
I was going to say.
Gatorade ad.
Oh, was it a Gatorade ad? Because I was like, man, that looked like a meteor hit and just crashed in. I was like, whoa, that's a pretty good serve.
Yeah, Andy Roddick, who could crank it 145, 150, but that was actually a nice Photoshop of a Gatorade ad.
Oh, okay. But it still was cool. It still was cool.
Because I got suckered to watch that too, going, wow, because I couldn't believe that he would do that. 49 replay. We're coming right down to the end. I'm going on vacation soon, so we won't finish next week, but the week after. Yankees are going to go to the World Series. The National League is still up in the air. I played.
So you haven't walked away from that project yet?
No. What the hell would I walk away for?
Because everyone else was walking in that project.
I was about to get to that. God.
That's what we call a foreshadowing in the business, folks.
That's what we call a segue.
Segue.
Your segue leaves a lot to be desired, Gardner. Exactly. We should get the prices right, loser horns there. So trying to get the Yankees over the hump to win the pennant and make sure it's on the stream and all that. So they're playing a game against the Detroit Tigers. We streamed this yesterday on my Retro Sports Network channel. And, the wheels kind of came off early. I'm going to spoil this for Al, who has not watched it. It was Tommy Byrne. No, you can listen. Tommy Byrne and Fred Hutchinson, okay? Now, Tommy Byrne is the original Wild thing. And when action, because I do these all in Action PC Baseball, and when it gives a starting pitcher 165 pitches as their pitch count, yeah, you're in for a wild afternoon. This is not 3-up, 3-down baseball. Byrne didn't make it out of the first. Okay? We start the game. He walks a couple, what you expected because he walked, I think, 150 and 220 innings or some ungodly thing like that. There's 2 errors in the process. So you're giving the Tigers outs. And I think before the first out is recorded, it's 5-0 Detroit. And there's no hits. It's 2 errors and some bases loaded walks, okay? But the errors come, and so the runs aren't earned. If we keep going here, by the end of the first inning, Byrne gets yanked. He gave up a hit. It's 7-0.
So how many hits by the time it's 7-0?
1, maybe 2.
The walks will kill
I honestly think that the Tigers line after the top of the first was 9 runs on 2 hits.
Walks will kill you.
And guess what? All 9 runs were unearned
because of the errors.
And so by the time that we finish, it usually takes me about 55 minutes to play a ball game and chat. It took an hour 20 to play this one. The final score was Detroit 20, the Yankees 7. There were 14 hits combined for both teams in a 27-run game, okay?
Wow. And an extra point missed.
And an extra point missed. The Giants couldn't convert against the...
I think there was...
Except the end kicking.
It gets better. We set the record for most walks by one team in a game. The Yankees walked 24.
Jesus.
Wow.
Every person I put in could not, except for the last one. Like, I'm just picking, we're asking, can an outfielder pitch? Maybe. The last guy got the last 5 outs in a row. It's like, where the hell was this the last hour? The Yankees walked 24. The Tigers walked 8.
32.
So we set the record for most walks by a single team and combined, and we ended up with 13 unearned runs. The Tigers had 13 unearned runs.
And I think the Tigers had 13 or 14 left on base, too.
Yeah, they stranded 13, too. You should, even though I've told you what happened, you gotta watch. At one point, I proverbially just threw up my hands and just started laughing. It was just so
that happens.
Fun.
That happens sometimes when we play these games. Weird and wild things.
Let's see. So that, and the other thing is that I started my part of what I'm calling the Dave Gardner project. He can read your mind, I'm doing the Islanders and the Blackhawks, and I know the whole point is we're doing these all in different game engines, except for you, right? You're only doing an Action PCL.
Yes, because I don't have. I thought about using hockey. Oh, what's it called? Franchise Manager Hockey.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
And I still might
do them as an exhibition game because we're not really keeping stats.
That's the other thing. You can't really keep stats in that. And that you can actually play PC versus you just sit there and you watch. But
that could be interesting.
I might still.
I didn't even think of that. I have that too.
After we're done, because the chalkboard, it's the chalkboard they've improved, and I haven't played in a while. I don't know if they've updated. Had updates. They probably did. They always do it with the baseball game. So the chalkboard. It's tough to try to call it from the chalkboard because
I don't think you can.
It's tough, but you can. What you can do, what I was going to do, and I still might do it later on. Just quickly sim the games and compare. You can go to the. It's like like the old way.
The old way, yeah.
And you could actually kind of call a game a bit with that. And I thought about doing, but
because we all have it.
Yeah. And again, I think I'm going to stick it out with Action PC. I like Action PC hockey. Yeah. I just do.
So my series, I'm doing the Islanders and the Blackhawks. And so the Islanders are going to use Strat PC, and the Blackhawks are going to use Action PC.
Oh, cool.
And because Bill Wirtz was so cheap that we won't allow any live streaming of any games from Chicago. They'll all be on tape on Sports Channel America right after Hartford Whalers today. So game 1 went according to plan. It was the Islanders 4-1, and I'm going to spoil this one for Al again too. Game 2 was a classic. 2-2 late in the third period, and Clark Gillies, I want to punch his lights out, gets called for a major and a game misconduct with 40 seconds to go in regulation. So you get one card to go in before overtime. He must have speared somebody. I mean, it's the only thing I could think of for that. So we finished regulation 2-2, and so Chicago starts overtime with a 4-minute and 20-second major power play. And so Chico stopped the first 4 shots, or the first 3 shots. Who was it, Bordello? It doesn't really matter. It'll be up before this gets up. Beat him. And so the Hawks have evened the series 1-1. They won game 2.
On a power play goal in overtime on a major penalty.
On a major penalty power play goal. There's
just been weird things happening in this project. Yeah.
So I'll go to you, Dave. Talk about the project, because I'm not sure that we've done that yet on the.
Yeah, what it is I have a bunch of hockey games, and I looked at some of the seasons that I had, and I have 70-71 in so many different games. I was like, but I always play 70-71, and I'm doing that in shootout right now for the whole season. So the other season I had was 77-78, and I had that in many different games. So I was like, okay, let's do this project here. So I started to play, all the playoff games in round 1, and I was playing, Strat PC. That I played Strat Cards and Dice. I played Inside the Crease. I played Action PC. I played Shootout. I was playing everything. And then I even got Apper involved in. So I was playing in all these different games. And I did round 1. It was kind of fun. And when I was talking to you, Ron, about, what am I going to do with round 2? And you said, hey, I'll do the Islanders Blackhawks series for you. And I was like, oh, that might be kind of fun. And I approached Al, and I says, Al, you'd be interested in doing the Bruins Kings series? And he's like, yeah. So we got 3 of us working on round 2. And every game practically has some kind of a story, and we'll get to Al's games in 1 second here. But when I get to what I'm playing, my series have been just nutty. What's been going on, and I don't mean nutty bad. I mean nutty good. I mean, these have not been boring games whatsoever. And so,
did you say that my 4-1 Islander win in game 1 was the biggest spread?
I believe that's 4-1 is the biggest spread I've had in this project. All the other games were 1 or 2 goal games. I mean, there might have been an open net or something like that. Until one of my Rangers wins over the Canadians was 6-2, I think.
Well, the seventh game too that was close.
8-3, right?
Yeah, that one was a blowout too, on shootout hockey.
In the third period, the Canadians. Yeah, that was shootout hockey, right?
Yeah, that was so that
they got on a roll.
Yeah, they scored 5 in the third, I think. Yeah,
crazy to even think that Montreal could blow a 3-0 lead in the series.
Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah, so just a spoiler alert. The Canadians went up 3-0 on the Rangers. And then in Game 4, using Apple Hockey, the Rangers beat them 6-2, including, I think there was a penalty shot goal in that game. I put Bunny Larocque in instead of Ken Dryden because I didn't want Dryden getting injured because they were up 3-0 in the series. So I put Bunny Larocque in. Bunny Larocque gets injured. He gets cut in the face, and he's got to come out. So Dryden comes in the second period for Larocque, right? Gets shelled. Rangers go on to win. And even in the third period, I had a rare play in which Larry Robinson shot the puck into his own net.
Holy Steve Smith, Batman.
Yeah, it was. So I had a little bit of everything going on, like everything going the Rangers' way. Everything going the Rangers' way. So the Rangers ended up coming back, forcing a Game 7 after being down 3-0, led in the second period, went into the third, tied 3-3, but in Game 7, in the third period at home, Canadians just put up a 5 spot and blew them out so the Canadians would advance. But that's been the nuttiness going on in this series. And that's pretty much all I've been playing, so I'll just wrap up, what I've been playing. Playing that series here. And again, I've been using a whole bunch of different games.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Which is really a lot of fun.
It's been bouncing around from different games. I've had some really good games, even in the APA games. Even though they've been high scoring, they've been fun. Even the blowout and shootout hockey was fun because that time it was Game 7 and it was 3-3 going into the third, and just Montreal opened up a can of.
When you were playing that game, and I was listening to it, I could actually feel the forum Montreal played at the old right. And just I could feel like how insane it would have been by the time they scored. Okay, they're up 4-3 now, 5-3. They start, and then like that place is like
yeah, I think they had like 7 scoring chances in the third period, or 8. Insane. It was just you weren't going to stop that, But
no, at the time, it was the largest facility in the NHL. They seated over 18,000, and so that place would have been.
And not everybody
rock and roll. No, only because I know when I was a kid, you watch the Bruins go there and play in the playoffs or regular season. It was rock and rolling all the time, and I'm sitting there going, I can envision it. I can hear it just like on the TV.
You can see the game slipping away from the Rangers, and and I'm kind of glad it happened that way because that's how it would have happened in the real life.
Montreal was a powerhouse in the 70s.
Yeah,
especially towards the late. Philly had that run, right? The 2 cups, I think.
Yep.
2.
Yep.
Montreal, Bruins early. Montreal still very good.
Yep.
And then Montreal, what they went 4 in a row, 3 in a row.
They won 4 in a row.
In a row,
followed by the Islanders winning 4 in a row.
Right, and then
Edmonton 3 in 5 years.
Yep. But not everyone had a seat in the Forum though, Ron, because I've been to the Forum twice, and there was and I was in the last row, and there was standing room only behind me.
When did you go there?
When I was a kid, I went twice. I went once when I was 10. And I saw, was I 10 or 11? It was 78. I went.
Nice.
And then I went a second time as an adult, and I get pictures I took with like a Kodak camera or something like that, and I get Ray Bourque wearing number 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Before he switched to 77 when they retired Esposito's
number. So I got some pictures, and they lost both games that I went up there, but it still was a good time up there in the Forum,
cool.
The whole bit. But so I just been playing a whole bunch of different hockey games as part of the project with you guys. And it's just been really fun. So Al, what have you been playing here besides hockey?
Thank you for inviting me to the project, you two fine gents. I'm having a fun time playing the Bruins and the Kings. And at your suggestion, I play the home team. And so in Boston, I get to play as the Bruins, which I'm happy about. And in LA, I play as the Kings, and that's fine. That's cool. But it's been a lot of fun. We've had some really the 3 games. In game 1, the Bruins won 4-2 in Boston. In game 2, the Kings won 3-2. They were up 3-1, and the Bruins were just peppering Rogie Vachon, right? I pulled the goalie. We scored. The Bruins scored, made it 3-2. We're still peppering them at the end in 30 seconds, and they win.
Vachon has been very good in that series for the Kings.
He has good ratings, and again, I'm not the hockey historian or guru, but I remember him when he at the end, and he was still a good goalie, but when he came to the Bruins, he was past his, he's at the end. But he's been standing on his head. Game 3 was wild. It was 1-1 going into the third period, and late in the third period, Cashman. A good solid check at center ice. He takes the puck and he has like the rush, and he scores. And they go 2-1. Then they got the empty netter. But the other thing that's fun, I remembered, and I'm sure it was Rick Middleton. He did this little. I remember watching him play, and he would do this little like spin and then shoot.
Yeah,
I remember that. I'm positive he did that on occasion. And he had scored. God, did he score the tying goal? Whoever did, and I could see it in my head, so that's why I called it.
Yeah.
And we had a little fun with yesterday's call. We had Jesse the Body in the booth, and then I had people in the chat, and I would say like Dave for the Boston Globe in the press, and I was reading that. But it's a fun time. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying it a lot. I do like Action PC hockey, but it's phenomenal, Dave, the way you've been showing it with different games, and then Uncle Ron's always a great call with any game. But he's going to use Stratton Action PC. But I'm just going to stick with Action PC. And I might do, after we're all done, just for ha-has, not out of the ballpark hockey, but
franchise hockey.
Manager, just to see how it would go. Because you can play an exhibition. You just can't keep stats with it. And that's a shame about that. But anyway, I've been playing that. I've also been. We're coming to a conclusion of our 1977. What if Joe Namath played the whole season for the Rams?
Oh, that's been fun to follow.
That's been on Pro Strategy Football 2021, 2022 coming out in September. It's gonna be a really fun game. Lots of improvements with it. We'll have Carry On with Mike in the truck and Lee and some other people in a few 2 to 3 weeks. when things are more settled down for them. And again, everyone who works on that pro strategy football, it's a love of labor of love. I'm sorry. No one gets, it's a fun community. That's all I can say.
Great community.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that's been fun. And I just realized the other day driving to work, it's going to be Namath versus Shula. Uncle Ron.
Part 2.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up on my channel now. Red Sox.
Missed Miami by about a year, by the way, because they played the one 2 years before in Miami in Super Bowl 13, and after the 78 season was in Miami.
Yeah. So I've done 2 season replays, and Miami's going to go to the Super Bowl. 72, they went 13-1 and lost to the Packers, which was fun. But now Packers made it. The Packers, the 72 replay was pretty much dead on with people who won the divisions and stuff.
Right.
Except the Packers beat the Redskins because Redskins had to go to Green Bay in my replay, and they won. Anyway, but I've been playing that. We have lots of stuff up on the channel. We always do some Glory Days boxing. We do some card and dice baseball, whether Strat or Pine Tar baseball. But a fun project I'm doing offline, I kind of, you guys are kind enough, I post stuff up on Digital Dice Facebook page. I'm doing the 67 season over, but Ron gave me this idea because he's playing 1986 Strat. I think you're still playing it, but it's like not open world. That's not the right term.
As carded, not as played.
As carded, not as played. I'm doing something similar where it's only major transactions, no injuries. Injuries can happen, but like Tony Canigliaro, he might not get beamed in the eye. So what if he could still get hurt and be out for the season, but not that. But I also added a DH in both leagues. I know that's sacrilegious to some people, but it's my project offline, and I can do what I want. Exactly. But I'm going to be interested to see at the end of it, compare the offensive stats to what actually, because you have a DH now.
The Shy Sox still aren't going to hit above 200.
No, they're horrible. But that's what I've been pretty much playing amongst other things.
So, a lot of good stuff there. So, cool. All righty. So, should we get on to the topic of the day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, we all got our projects going on here, right? What happened? Okay. Everything good?
Yeah.
You got your coffee in your Digital to Dice mug, I see.
I do.
Can't see it on the audio show.
I know,
but
you can't see it on the podcast.
It's a radio show, Al.
Hey, so we talked about how long is too long when it comes to playing an actual game, and now we're going to talk about a topic that was brought up by one of our listeners: is how many projects is too many projects to be going at once? And he asked this on Delphi, and he asked this on his YouTube page, the YouTube channel. Yep. And it got me thinking. That's a good thing to talk about because we all got different things, and every week we start off with what we're playing, and most of the thing of what we're playing is a project of some kind. So the question was, how many projects is too many to have going on at the same time? And everybody had different ideas about this and that. So, Ron, let's start with you. What do you think? How many projects? What's the sweet spot for you personally? For you, not anything else, just you.
Gosh, I got a lot of mini projects on the side. I try to have one long-term streaming project because I know that I have to finish it. So one of those, and then I'll watch something on YouTube where one of you two will point out a game I should try, and I'll get it, and let me do this. And you said you've got 70-71 in every hockey game known to man, including Laurie Boschman hockey, which I'm not sure even did seasons. I've got 1978 in baseball in every possible game I could. I don't know how that we do it in Strat football, but I have 78 baseball in Strat football. So I'll do something, or someone will suggest something, and so I'll start this, and it kind of goes on the wayside, or I'll go hot and heavy on something, kind of like the 86 Strat baseball thing that Al was mentioning a few minutes ago. And then I'll get it put away, and now that Al's mentioned it, I should go pull that back out again. So probably three or four
serious ones.
Serious ones, and then I haven't played this in a while. Let me tinker with it and see what I do. And if I do, okay, the next time I have something open up. So probably for every 5 or 6 I start, maybe 2 go more than halfway.
Yeah,
just because there's other things.
I think 3 serious ones is good because I know myself. I got this project going on here, the hockey project here. That'll wrap up in the next few weeks, I would imagine. Anyway, so that's kind of a medium project. It's not a quick project. It's not a one-off, but neither is it a long project. But I mean, I have the some long projects going on. The 70-71 shootout hockey. I'm doing the full season, so that's my big one, which I know I haven't played in about a month. So that's going to take me a year or so to play if I get back to it, But I've started a couple Bruins seasons. One's kind of a what if in Action PC when I added Tretiak and the 2 Russians to the Bruins, in 74. And I also started one in Strat PC. I think I started the 89 season, which is the season in between the Bruins Stanley Cup final runs. And I just go on there every once in a while and I'll play a game here, a game there. So I would consider those projects, but not serious projects. I might stream one once in a while, but aside from that, I just play when I want to. Also, I have Replay PC Baseball. I got the 79 season I'm playing because I do like Replay PC Baseball. It's one of my funnest games there on the computer. And what I do is I look at the day, and if there's a matchup I like, I play it. If not, I just sim the day and I go to the next day. And it's not a very serious project for me. And I stream a game every now and then, and I've had some great finishes for the Red Sox with Fred Lynn walking off a home run on rolling 3 6s and stuff like that. So I guess that would be considered a project, but it's nothing that I guess it's a back burner thing that I pull out once in a while when I do something different. But so I guess I would say I have that one baseball project going. I also have a payoff pitch. I'm replaying all the Clemens games. I want to see how that works out with payoff pitch. And I think I played 2 or 3 of the Clemens starts in that, and I haven't played that in a few months either. So that's what I want to pick up again. So I guess that I get 2 baseball projects going, maybe 1.5. I got 1 basketball project going. That's the Celtics 85-86 with Replay PC Basketball, which I've streamed every game of that. So that's been a fun thing there. So I think I get like 1 or 2 going in each thing. I don't think I get the 1 football going, the Solitaire Pro Football, the 1980 season. I'm playing a game a week in that. So I don't have a number in my head either, but I know that I have a baseball, a basketball, football, and a few hockey products going. So to tackle a new project, right about now, I don't know if I'd want to tackle a new one. That's where I love the one-offs. And
you're the king of the one-offs.
It's just you get excited or something. You see a YouTube thing or somebody mentions something, or I watch somebody in the community play games. Like, oh, I want to do that too. Well, I'm not going to commit to the whole season. I'm not going to commit to even a whole season for one team. But if I could just pick 1 or 2 games in that season, scratch that itch, and then I don't feel guilty. And I guess that's the word I use. I feel guilty. I have so many projects going and I'm not finishing them. Because when I finish one project, it's like an accomplishment. I feel like I've made it to the top of the mountain, and I can stream. I scream. I finished the project. I feel proud about myself. I followed it through. You guys feel like that when you finish one? Do you feel obligated to finish a project, or are you okay just?
I'll tell you. Talk about finishing a project. So I got back into Action PC Hockey a little while ago because I do like the game. I was playing it offline. I go, man, I started this project. It's almost 3 years ago. Bruins, early 70s. I can't remember the exact year, but the Esposito and Orr against the Oilers, powerhouse team, both powerhouse teams. And so I started playing again offline. I said, let me play. I was having so much fun playing it. I said, let me play. And I finished the last 2 games online on this. I streamed them, and so that project was a long time in finishing. How many is too many? It's up to the person, But I do like to finish projects. Sometimes it takes me a while, whether I'm playing online or offline. I have a boxing project with Title Bout Championship PC, which is a fun game. It's all pure sim. Like you click, you read the text, and the little guys kind of smack each other. It was on my old computer. My old computer is not doing bueno. That's why I have a new computer. and I couldn't find the fight like Crash. I was like, well, I could go back and watch every. I kind of knew who won and stuff. I mean, I still brought that over, but I'm like the last few matchups I kind of remember. But I found the spreadsheet, so I'm going to go back to that. And that's a long project, but it's determined because sometimes I start something and
it fizzles out. You just lose interest.
In my mind, like I have a Mets project that I will finish, but I wish I did it the way I'm doing the 67 Red Sox because I got used to playing with the Mets a certain way with the players they had, and then they made all these trades in 62. Not that they were good, but they had a fun little team, at least in my replay with these guys, because they could hit the ball. They can't pitch worth a lick, but at least they could hit the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I did it that way, but I'll get back. That's Action PC. How many is too many?
I think we've all abandoned product. And again, there's no right answer here. There's no wrong answer. And I think there's times that you start something like, yeah, this is just not going as fun as I thought it was going to be. And my time is well spent doing something else.
And one last thing on this, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. But you mentioned something like I'll see someone stream something, or I'll see something on YouTube, or Uncle Ron will mention something, Uncle Dave will mention something, or anybody like Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims. He does that wrestling game that I enjoy, right? So I was just playing it here and there, and I said, wow, I can have my own little territory and come up with and that is more. It's not a one-off thing, but I can have a show anytime I want.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? So that's a fun thing. I have a tournament going there, but I can do that anytime I want. But yeah, I think when I'm streaming something, I kind of want to, especially now, because I stream more regularly, I kind of want to finish projects.
Yeah.
Right. Especially for Ron. He does it on Twitch, and he does a great job. But you almost have to finish a project, Ron, when you start.
Well, and the thing is that you want to finish them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like any, you start a book, and you're reading the book, and you need to finish the book. And although the 49 season hasn't gone the way I thought it would go, you still want to finish it. I mean, it's not that I'm disappointed that the Red Sox didn't contend. You wanted that American League race to be good. And so, but again, as with any project, you just don't know how they're going to go once you start because, okay, we can put all the data in here, but what happened in real life goes out the window the second the season starts. It's a whole new season.
And one last project, we're talking about taking time to do one. I did the Ted Williams Open World Swan Song season, 1960. I started that out. I checked because I was just going back looking at old videos. The Out of the Ballpark 18, Out of the Ballpark 19, and I finished with Out of the Ballpark 20.
Wow.
Because I played every game, not all online, but I'm saying I played down the stretch. I played a lot of them online, but that was fun. So you have to do what's comfortable for you because what are these games about? Having fun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so, say if you start something, regardless if you're streaming it or not, and you're not having, take the streaming out of it, right?
Right.
You're playing a game. This is your leisure time, right?
Mm-hmm. So
if you want to stop to do something else and come back to whatever project in your head, because we get, like you see something, I want to try that. So there's no, like you guys said, there's no right or wrong answer.
There's no right or wrong. I've gone back and forth a couple times on 75, 76 Islanders and Strat Hockey, and I've gotten them over the quarter pole. The one project that I had to abandon that I really was enjoying was the 81-82 in Strat for the Islanders and the Oilers because Strat didn't card several teams right.
The goalies. Was that the goalie issue?
That was the goalies.
I remember you talking about
Vancouver was way too good.
Yeah.
And I know they made the finals that year, but I think they were a 3 or a 4 that year in the Smythe. They should, it was one of those everyone kind of fell apart and kind of like what Montreal's doing this year in real life. And it's like you couldn't beat these teams. You could also, there was no way Gretzky was going to get anywhere close to 200 points. But the Islanders were going like gangbusters. I mean, you just couldn't stop them on the power play. That was fun. You knew what was going to happen. But again, because it wasn't right for that, and everybody's playing everybody, it's like nope.
And you thought the result again when you play in these games, results aren't always going to be exact. But if they're
not supposed to, it's not like open out hockey reference, but you want them to be realistic
within the ball, within a ballpark sort
and
of figure.
Vancouver and Los Angeles were miscarded. And okay, if I'm just doing the Islanders, okay, so it's 6 games out of the 80, but I'm playing all the Edmonton games.
Yeah.
And they're in the same division. And that's 16 games between those two teams. Like, nope, can't do it.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But no, I think it kind of, Dave, as you look at your shootout 70-71 project, it'll go away. You'll pull out something else. You got this going on. You got that going on. And some night when there's nothing to do, when it's raining out, and you find yourself home, let me pull this out again.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And you'll fall in love with it again, and you'll go hot and heavy for a week and then. I mean, there's no expiration date.
Yeah. What happened with that? What happened with that? 2 things happened with that project. 1 was Solitaire Pro Football, and 2 was Apple Hockey.
I was just going to say, sometimes when you're doing a project, I was just going to mention that, you get a new game.
A new game.
And the new game, basically you go, honey, I love you. I'm married to you, but I got this mistress over here. It's just a fling. I'm going to play this game for a little bit. I'll come back to you because you're my rock. But this is candy. You know what I'm saying? Candy.
After 23 years, she's packing the bags and telling you to go, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. A new game?
A new game, yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
And again, Solitaire Pro Football. And Dave says, we've got to figure out a way for you to play this. And they came up with a way for me to play this.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And it is a hell of a game. I can't stream it.
Yeah, but you enjoy it, though.
But I've thoroughly enjoyed the game. That's another one. Okay, I got.
Wait, but didn't you did sort of stream it, didn't you? Because Uncle Dave helped you with the. I watched that.
We did the one-off where Dave ran the helper on his computer. And I called and played the game. That was cool.
That actually worked pretty well. That worked well.
I thought that was fun. I watched that. I listened.
That was a hell of a game. We did the San Francisco Miami Super Bowl.
I would do that again with that because that's a fun game to play. And so
that really was fun.
So Ron could just worry about the play. He would call the play, and whatever he called, I just put in the stats on the helper and called up the. And I thought that worked out well, and I would absolutely do that again in that situation.
I really enjoyed that, but as far as me doing it as a solo thing,
not doable, right?
I did a demo for Dave, and I think we both came away with it when it was going to take way too long.
It's a long game, yeah. It's a cards and dice football game, play-by-play football game. And even though it moves pretty quick and there's no charts or anything like that, really, the plays resolve pretty quick, you're still talking a play-by-play type of game.
There are certain things that the designer does not want shown, and he is well within his rights to do that. Yep. And so I had it set up to show everything, and I had another thing set up to show just the Pro Football Helper. And what was going on was I could just show the Pro Football Helper, but because I didn't want to show everything, you couldn't even see me input in the stats. It would just stay on that screen. And so I was essentially calling every play twice.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, yeah. But I mean,
it doesn't mean that I enjoy the game a great deal, and it's something that, one of those things you got a half hour to kill. Because of the helper, Pro Football Helper, I could pick up the game where I left off, and then and that's great. That's great.
So Solitaire Pro Football's crept up on me, and I love that, and I went.
Try it, Al.
Yeah, I went headlong into that and learned how to play that and stream some of that, and I got my seasons going with that. And then the Apple Hockey come out of nowhere, and I still don't know where this came out of, but I got the game and I played it and I loved it, and I got a bunch of seasons.
It's the Gilles Thibault video. Because when I saw that, I went, oh, Dave, well, this is Dave.
Yeah, you pointed that out. So we watched Thibault's hockey video. I was like, oh, this makes sense. A couple things that just had me stuck made sense. And I get over that hump, and it was almost smooth sailing from there.
Oh, that's the other great thing about the community. Like, sometimes you're on the fence about a game or not even like, why do people like this game? And it's fine. It's cool. Whatever wants to play. But that happened with me with PC Replay Baseball. I watched a couple like ID Gesture and then King Icky Boo. And King Icky Boo explained it. And I said, ID Gesture did this too. And I went back and I found the video. I said, I kind of get this now.
It takes sometimes you got to go back a few times because even with so the app of hockey, I tried it last year. I think it was one of the listeners of the show sent me his old app of hockey game. I tried it, and it worked. It was okay. But I wasn't ready for it. And then when I watched more videos and I got into it and I bought the new game with the new charts, it just kind of worked. And now I love it. It's a fantastic game. Inside the Crease was the same way. That game kind of come out of nowhere too. And I watched Eric from Higher Ground Gaming do it, and there was another guy, and they were walking you through it, and I was like, oh, this starts to make sense, and so I grabbed that one there. So I got like 2 or 3 new games since that shootout product. And it happens, and and I don't want to say, well, I don't want to get a new game because I want to finish this project here, but things like that come up. You know what I mean? That just get in the way. And sometimes I actually feel guilty about that when I start a new product. That's why I try to finish them. Like this hockey product here, I really want to push to get this 77-78 playoff project done, at least on my end, because then I can start something else. I feel like if I finish it, I'm going to feel great about it. It's been great so far. I'm dying to see how it all pans out in the whole bit, see who the champ's going to be. And then I can start something else or move on to maybe go back to my payoff pitch project with the Clemens like I talked about. But like I wouldn't want to start anything new right now because I have a lot going on and I'm enjoying them. And if I were to start something new, I'm enjoying the ones I'm playing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I pulled out Above the Rim. I did the I recorded and uploaded the what was supposed to be the coronation for the Bulls when they finally got past the bad boys, the Detroit Pistons. Well, the dynasty goes on for a couple more days for Detroit, and pulled out that game and recorded it all just to see how long it would take to do a full NBA game and whether another pilot. It's pilot season for me because baseball season's almost done, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It felt like when I was in college watching, as Dave's dog is now stealing the show behind us. You, CJ. Absolutely you.
He looks at the camera.
He looks at the camera. Dave's got headphones on, so CJ can't hear, but as soon as I said his name, he looked at the camera. Yeah. Anyway, and so it felt like I was in college watching the Bulls get past the Pistons, and I'm going, okay, I've got all the seasons. What am I going to do? Well, how many? That's another one. Like, nope, we're going to wait on that. To get something into that. It was fun. It was exciting. It scratched that itch, as Dave talked about. But like, nope.
Yeah, I mean, I would do a one-off somewhere right now, but because I sit there and I'm like, okay, if I don't do the 77-78 project for hockey like we're doing, maybe I take a few days off from that, and maybe I go back to my solitaire pro football. But if not that, then maybe I can go back to this, maybe I can go back to that. And there's still a couple of games I want to try or pick up. There's a couple of games on my list that I'm looking at that I'd like to give it a whirl, but. Yeah, but again, I hate to get that and then just have the project pile start stacking up because I got some good ones going. At least in my mind, I got some good ones going. And
I've enjoyed the I've liked this joint venture with the hockey.
Oh, this is fun.
I like the early 70-71 the whole season. That's the shootout hockey, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been fun. I've enjoyed the football game, the solitaire football game, which again I keep looking at. There's a couple other games we'll talk offline because I want to ask you. I don't want to do it online because
the solitaire football does have the entire Super Bowl history.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Just say it, Al. Just say it, Mr. What If. But yeah, no, I certainly get it. And again, you go, oh, you were doing this, and oh, you were doing that, and. Some point, don't you miss me? We were having so much fun.
Yeah. And I see the people posting on Facebook in Delphi and different. Usually it's baseball, but sometimes it's basketball, and they're like, I'm going to take these 20 teams and I'm going to play a 30-game schedule with everybody, and I'm like, good luck. It's and then you never hear from them again. It's like, whatever happened with that one there? Then the next week it's like, oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 15 teams and I'm going to have them play each other 6 times. And
it's just like any other buffet. Your eyes are bigger than your
that's
stomach.
a good way of putting it.
That is an excellent way of putting it, because sometimes you just look at everything. I'm trying everything. And here's the thing with me, and I do complete projects, as we know.
Yes.
But things will, again, whether I'm watching on YouTube, someone else streaming something, or I'm watching old games, or someone's doing a new game, like, whatever, a new baseball game, we'll keep it. And I'm sitting there going, now maybe I don't have that game, but boy, that's an interesting thing they just did. And I can tweak it the way I want to play it. And that's an interesting thing. Like when someone does a pitcher's replay, I kind of like those, even if they're doing as played. That's really
those
interesting.
are cool. Yeah,
I like, because did it happen the same? And I'm rooting. A couple of people have done Mark Fidrich's replays, and I started. There's a project you want to talk about, not going back to a project. People were doing the project. I was doing one on a different type of baseball game. I was enjoying it, but then I'm like, these other people are doing it too, and I'm really enjoying both these projects. That's a project I never went back to, but I might have something in the near future because I picked up 1976 for PC replay. So I might have something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's interesting that you see, again, I know we've said it, but some people do it the way you want. Like some people say, I'm going to start, like Tribes Fan 879, right? Meticulous. He will start a season, card and dice, mind you, which to me, that's always incredible. Anyone who does that, hats off. I can't do that. He'll start a season and he'll play it right through. He's not giving you every game on his channel, but he'll give you every third game or every important game.
He's not always picking great teams.
No, and he's a Cleveland Indians fan. I think he's finally doing something with the Indians. But so, you see someone do something and just, because it's about having fun.
Yes.
And if you like to do one-offs, which are fun because it's the ultimate Barnum and Bailey circus, and it's like, let's bring the people into the tent. What are we gonna do? If you like to do the long season replays, that's fine too. If you like to do multiple replays, you have to find what you're comfortable with. I guess, right?
We've all experimented with very different kind of replays. And, it's interesting because I'm pretty much a stock replay person. Dave is much more of a one-off or a short-term project person. And as I said, I wasn't joking, Al is the king of the what-ifs.
I like them.
The 70-71 Bruins and the 84-85 Oilers, and again, we all have our own different enjoyments of what we do, and it just goes to show that there's a great variety. But I've done what ifs, and Dave's done some baseball, and Al, even though the Namath thing is kind of a what if in the 77, you did pretty much a stock season replay.
Yeah, it's a little different with that game because but very fun game, Pro Strategy Football 2021.
Have you ever gone back to an old project, you get on the computer or you're sitting at the table one night, and I'll throw this out to the audience too, if you've ever had this happen, and you're sitting there like, well, I don't want to do this product. I don't want to do this product. It's like, something? Let me pull this out. It's been 6 months since I've done anything with this project here, and whether it's a cards and dice or whether it's on the computer, and you pull it out and you start playing, you're just like, now I know why this project kind of withered away on the vine. And has that ever happened to you? And you just you put it back and
yeah, the Mets. Now I've not streamed any of those games on Action PC. I started one on Strat, which was fun. I enjoyed both, but that was on the old PC, and then it foobarred, and I didn't want to start that over on that. But the Mets, yeah, I've gone back. I played one. It's the way they lose, it's horrific. I mean, I'm like, I got my lead, and now I'm sitting there going, oh my God, this whole pitching staff is horrible. And you're literally, for me, I'm playing as played, okay, with the Mets offline. But I'll make pinch, I'll do crazy things. And I'm like, well, I can get runs. Guess what? I'm pinch hitting in right now, right here. And then the pitching staff, they're bad. They're horrific. you try to match up lefty. Just give me 2 outs against these 2 lefties.
You got more mileage out of the 77 Mets when you did that replay.
That was fun.
Than anybody ever could have. And so when you started at 62, boy, that's...
And you can't do the same things like I did with 77. They're not going to go. They're not going to bunt.
Oh, no.
They have a bunch of old sluggers who, against the right pitching. Now, let this be said, because I went back a little bit, but I thought you're going... I think Ron and I thought you're going somewhere else with that.
Yeah.
And then when you
sit there... How much you like it after you pull it out after 6 months. Yeah.
This one, and I don't dislike it, but... I can still hit the ball a ton with the pitching's like god awful. It's just tough to play. It's tough to know that you have a 4-run lead and you have 6 outs to go and you watch your pitching implode over and over and over again.
But there's been I'm sorry, go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
I think it depends on how much work it is for me to actually do something, because the ones that usually get tended on the back burner are not necessarily the pure computer games. It's much more of the Excel games or the ones where I use the ball roller.
And you have to put a lot of prep. A lot of prep.
When there's prep into it, and then you pull it back out again and going, okay, no, the cat still doesn't want the water. How much, am I getting, how much return am I getting on my investment? If it's going to take me an hour to set this up, do I have an hour and a half to play it?
Yeah. I was just going to say, has prep... little slightly different, but has prep ever... I've literally prepped for a game, right? Like card and dice baseball, and then turned around and went, I don't want to play it now. It took me this is one of the reasons why, again, there's a great site, and I forgot, you can download, if you're doing As Played, and I can't remember the site, but you can download the score sheet and everything. It's already set. Yeah. Diggy Dugout.
We need to get Ron Bernier on the show.
Is that the guy who did that?
Well, he's done a lot of... He did the old replay guides, if you remember, that you could buy.
But anyway, sometimes when I don't download those, and I'm trying to, like... By the time I look into baseball reference and you're sitting there, I don't want to do it now.
Yeah, or,
I'll do it like 4 days later.
That's where the PC games come in great, is I'll come down here at night and I'll be like, let me play this. And all of a sudden, it's like that second wind just goes out of you. And you're like, I'm going to kick up my feet and just play action PC and just click with the mouse, and not stream and not do nothing. You just kind of... play it. Maybe I play a period, or maybe I play a quarter, and then that's it, and then I'm tired.
Sarah and I come home late in the morning. We've run into friends and spent maybe another hour downtown than we thought we would, and so I get something set up, and by that point, Dave is home from the rink on a Saturday, and he wants to chat, and so I get chatting with him, and by 2:30, 3 o'clock, something I was thinking of at 10 o'clock. No. Nope.
Yeah, it's set up. Yeah, it's funny you say that. Sometimes setup will decide what I play for that day.
And that's I think very real for a lot of people. We talked about this with how when we did the how long do you want to play a game is, you're going to get distracted. If you're going to for this, and it's like, if it's something questionable, do I have enough of a block of a time to do that? And how many times am I going to get that chunk of time to want to do that?
And what's too bad, though, is that as much as I enjoy the PC games and they're easy to set up, it's just double click and you're off and running in most cases. Sometimes when the cards and dice stuff, or the fast action, whatever you want to call it, tabletop game, that I tend to like that. That's more intimate to me. I really I get more out of it. I do. I feel like I'm more involved.
I find it to be really relaxing that you sit. But again, when I say the setup, doesn't mean I'm not going to play it. I just probably play it 2 days later. I'm not streaming. I just want to say, I like to play this game over. But yeah, it's like to come home and to sit down and roll the dice and just write the little box score in. And it's, if I have the time, that's relax. Not stream it. I don't have to. And just sit there. Sometimes I find enjoyment. I have all those old the basic. They're just basic. All these great old teams. You just pull them out. The only thing that's funny there, because I don't play basic a lot, and when you don't play something,
you got to relearn it.
I'm sitting there going, okay, what's the rule? And I get it. It's basic, but I have to sit there and actually pull the thing. Okay, I remember how to do this. but it's fun,
That's the other thing too is I want to pull out payoff pitch and play that Clemens replay, and I got games all set to go, and I got my box ready to pull up. But I haven't played that in a couple 2 or 3 months now, so now I got to go and read on the rules of how to play that again. And I mean, you'll pick it up pretty quick, but it's just the idea that there's some games you just know, and you could bam, bam, bam. You can sit down, pick it up, and you're like shootout hockey. I don't got to think about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stuff like. But there's other games. It's like, geez, I got to pull out the rule book here. When I played Strat Cards and Dice the other night for one of my games, I had the rule book out, and I'm getting a refresher on a few things. I'm like, man, it's just been a while, and I forget this.
I don't tend to do other baseball replays when I'm doing my streaming replay season, just for the fact that I don't want to get lost and get more interested in what I'm doing offline than I am online, because the online's for show, and I really because you don't want to. I don't really want to switch those projects around, and so now that I'm coming to the end of the business portion of my baseball season, now I'll try out 2 or 3 different things and experiment and all that. So, but yeah, it's all fun. I mean,
have you guys ever been really close to finishing up a project, whatever that project is, long, medium, or short, and decided that you were going to push this through? You were going to, I don't want to say rush it, but you're going to really push to get that done so you can finish it. And I did that with regular season basketball, as I was replaying just in basic mode all the Celtics games from I think it was 85, 86. I think that was the season I have. And I had it all set up in Excel, and I just had to roll the dice and put in the score. And I got pretty close. I got down to like 10 or 12 games left. And I said, man, I am that close to finishing this project. And I didn't do the playoffs. I just played the regular season. And I sat down one night and I banged it out. And I was like, and I had fun. I didn't rush, but I had fun. But I said, okay, I'm going to finish this tonight. And I played the last 12 games, and I got my stats, and I went, whew, this one's done. I was this close to finishing this one. Now this is done. I've completed it. There's a sense of completion. I can share my result of the project with people, and it's done. But it's kind of done now and put away. And it's like, okay, there's one done. And put that in the done box on your office desk, and you feel like, whew, that's it's an accomplishment. So have you guys ever done that? You said, boy, something, I'm real close. Let me just put everything on hold and just plow through and get this one done.
The Ted Williams Swan song that I explained earlier, how I did it through 3 different versions. What happened was I would go away from it and then go back to it. The initial reason why I would go away from it, you're playing other things too, but every time Out of the Ballpark switches a new, you get a new game, you have to redo all the stadiums. It's not hard. It's another step. And I'm like, and once you have everything set up the way you like it, they've gotten better with it now, where it's not as, now when you bring over a season, it kind of keeps everything the same. Before they didn't. You literally, or at least maybe I wasn't doing it right then, right? So you have to reload everything. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do it. But yeah, that one at the end, I was having so much, I said, I really want to finish this. I'm really enjoying this. And that one, you mean like just grind it out and having, that was more just enjoying. But yeah, I sat there and said, I want to finish this. It's taken me a long time. I want to finish this one.
I think in 07 or 08, I did the 06 Mets and the 06 Red Sox, a strat. Combined, and the Mets actually went to the World Series. Pedro had a tremendous year, which is, I think is why I did it for the Mets. And the Red Sox did not have a tremendous year. And so I started zipping through those Red Sox games like, okay, we're just going to get this done. Didn't really enjoy it, so I could sit down there and enjoy what the Mets were doing, because that was the year that the N.A. Chavez catch and Beltran struck out looking at that god-awful, on that beautiful pitch to end the series. So yeah, I was rushing those Red Sox. You get to the point, it's kind of like a book, the last 40, 50 pages of a book.
Yeah.
And you look at the clock and it's 9:30. And you look up again and, it's 1:45. Like, so yeah.
So you were enjoying, you're doing two
the
Red Sox and the Mets. That's very similar to my 77 replay, where the Red Sox still had a winning season, but it wasn't going the way I thought, and I was enjoying more playing with the Mets. So I actually streamed more of those games online because I was having fun with it. The Red Sox were more of a struggle. Like, I couldn't get. We won 9. I think they won 90 games, but I mean, I didn't. I was 8. I think I was 5 under what they really did, or something like that.
That's not bad.
So
not bad. No, and I love David Ortiz and never liked Manny Ramirez. And Ramirez, the sign of a good game. If it feels like when you're playing it feels like real life. Ramirez would frustrate the ever-loving daylights out of me. So anyway, yeah. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, so I think we all have a decent amount of projects going here, and I think, like I said, myself, I feel guilty when I start a new one if I haven't completed one. That's just me. I feel like I got enough on my plate right now, so before I even check out something new, I at least want to finish this hockey project, and then I want to get the Clemens one done. So I got my list of stuff here, and it's like, I need to go back and do some of these things. I really do. I started them for a reason, and again, if you, especially if you're sharing them with the community, whether on Facebook or Delphi or on YouTube, and you don't do anything for 3, 4, 5, 6 months or a year, it's hard to bring it back. Say, hey, guess what, guys? Remember this right here? Anyone remember this? Remember me? You remember this replay here? You remember this guy here?
Right, we've all done it.
Yeah,
I did it with my hocky game.
Yeah, and it's been a while. But
now I can tell you why. I'm trying to think why I went back to that, because I'm pretty sure now. I'm positive you were doing the shootout hockey. You probably had a Bruins or whatever. You had a game up, and I'm sitting there going, "That Bruins team is really good," which I knew already. And I went and I played, like I said, I played a couple of games offline. I said, "Wow, I had fun with this." And of course, the Bruins won one or two of those games. And then I come on and they won one. Well, anyway, they lost the series. But it was that Gretzky was insane in that series.
Yeah.
That was. Yeah. He scored 9 goals in 6 games. He was just.
He's insane. Period.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens. Yeah. Sometimes you don't get back to it.
I saw you were doing that Canada-Russia series too in the hockey too, and that was pretty fun to watch.
I like that. The Russians' the Soviets are tough. Yeah. I got them down pretty good. Some people helped me with a couple of them. I wrote down one. I think you helped me with it phonetically. I have it somewhere.
I'm not sure if I'm. I went back actually on YouTube and listened to the Canadian announcer announce the lineup.
Oh, wow, that's
because
good.
They have all games on YouTube, and so when he's like, and on the left defense, Sagankov, or whatever it was.
I'm going to tell you something. You did a project. Hockey Unreal did a project for the 72 Summit Series before. Sorry about that. And So I looked up stuff. I looked at highlights. I watched bits and pieces. When you guys were doing the project, it was fun. You guys enjoyed it. And I said, well, the Action PC community made a...
I have that. The homebrew. Yeah. And
I downloaded it when you did the project. Never really went to it. I said, God, I think I'd like to play. And again, I'm not playing an exact. I'm just, whatever the computer puts out there, I'm going to have fun. And it's fun.
Those two teams are so evenly matched that those games are just so tight, and you're not going to get an 8-0 sweep out of any team in that series.
I had one. The second game was a blowout.
A Russian blowout.
Yeah, they started to pour it on, and I play as a Canadian, so everyone could get mad at me if I lose the Summit Series. But no, it's a lot. So again, that was a project that came, and I'll do that at my leisure.
Yep.
Maybe I'll put the games all up, but I like doing. I like playing that, and that's one of those things when you see someone else doing something, you're like, wow, that seems like a lot of fun, because you had passion for that project.
Yes.
Hockey Unreal had passion for that project. And when I see someone with passion doing a stream, I'm like, well, that could be fun. Not just fun listening and watching, but I'd like to take a shot at that. So that adds to my project list, you guys. It's your fault why I have way too many projects, and it's not me. I'm not the reason. It's society's reason in the sports sim game community why I have too many projects.
Yes, it is.
Not my fault.
I just want to see you use that Soviet rink that I sent you.
I have.
That come out pretty good.
Cool.
That come out pretty good.
You made that.
I made that simple rink, but I think it works out pretty well. Yeah. And I use that on my product there once in a while, But yeah, so anyway, so we'll wrap up episode 94. Here, where's my music? Hang on a sec. Where's my music? Here it is. By the numbers, this was episode 94.
Sega.
Sega, yeah, an NHL 94 episode. We talked about how many is too many, how many projects is too many to be juggling at the same time, and what causes you to start and finish or abandon a project. As we have our Red Sox fan on here joining us today, as the three of us.
Thank you very much.
I'm doing a circle emotion here. The three of us are working on a hockey project here, all together on our channels. That you could probably have seen. But anyway, ways to get a hold of us. digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the dice line. 978-751-3423. Send us a check. A check.
Yes.
Send us a text. I'm sorry.
Made payable too.
Oh, boy. Digitaltodice at yahoo.com is the email. And facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. Gentlemen, hey, thanks for joining me here on the NHL 94 episode.
Sega.
Thank you.
As always.
All right, we'll talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.